Okay, so today we're gonna learn, we're gonna cover the verb ir, the verb to go, and that is from page 120. The activities that we are going to complete will be coming from pages 121, activities 13 and 14, and then in page 122, activity 15 and 16. They all have to do with the verb ir, which is to go. These are the essential questions, okay? What does it mean to conjugate a verb? Okay, so what does that mean? Question number 2. In English, what is the conjugated form of the verb to go in the third person? Number 3. In the sentence, yo voy a la escuela, which part of the sentence comes from the verb ir or to go? Number 4. In Spanish, do you say yo ir a la clase de español? Or do you say yo voy a la clase de español? Número 5. Number 5. In Spanish, what other word is always accompanying the verb ir? Okay, that's something that you can find in the lesson today. When do we use the contraction al, al, and what does it mean? Number 7. Numero 7. How do you say I'm going to this? I'm going to the library. I'm going to the library, or I go to the library. Número 8. How do you say he's going to the cafeteria? How do you say that? Número 9. How do you say she goes to spend time with friends? Número 10. How do you say where are you going? And number 11. Where are you going to? Where we are going to the gym. So again, the verb ir is what we are learning today. Okay, so please pay attention today during this presentation. Okay. So let's get to this. If I could, if this thing allows me to move. It's so slow. All right. So here is the explanation of the verb to go. Okay, the English grammar connection is, remember that conjugating is a changing the forms of the verb to indicate who is doing the action. In English, to go is conjugated as I go, you go, he, she, or it goes, right? So you know how it changes to goes. You don't say he go, right? He goes. That is a change. You're changing the verb. That's a conjugation, okay? So before we continue with this today, let's watch this silly creatures. I'm sorry I'm putting you through this pain, but I want to get your attention.
¿Qué pasa? Where have you been? You are late. What do you mean I'm late? We don't have plans, do we? Well, maybe you don't, but I do. I'm starving. Voy a la cafetería. Much as I always enjoy eating, I was going to work out first. Voy al gimnasio. Oh, come on, Pablo. I don't want to eat alone. Why do you have to work out first? Because, Billy, I am on a mission to get super buff, super fast. Oh, brother. Hey, Toño! What's up? ¿A dónde van? Hi there, we've got to study. Vamos a la biblioteca. You don't need to study. Come to the cafeteria with me. No, do not tempt us. We haven't tried. We have to study. Vamos a la biblioteca. Okay, I get it. So, looks like today it's lunch for one. Poor Billy. Make sure you leave some food for us. Don't count on it.
Okay, so how many times do they use the verb to go to different places? One was going to the gym, the other one was going to the library, the other one's going, they were going to, where are they going? The cafeteria, correct, okay? So, ¿a dónde vas? ¿A dónde vas? Donde means where. A, when you put the preposition a first, is to where you are going. ¿A dónde vas? Voy a la cafetería. I go to the cafeteria. Voy al gimnasio. I'm going to the gym. Vamos a la biblioteca. We are going to the library. Notice when you answer, the verb that we are learning today is the verb ir, right? IR. But does it look like the verb ir when you look at the sentences? Voy means I go. Does it even look like it? No. The reason it doesn't is because the verb ir is a very irregular verb in every tense, in the present, past, future. It changes everywhere, okay? But what it doesn't change, and it's always followed by the preposition a, the preposition a, which means when it's accompanied by it, means to or towards, okay? Always. So in the present, changes. In the past, it changes. In the future, somewhat changes. And the imperfect in every tense, the verb ir changes. Okay? But what doesn't change is that it's followed by a after. Now, right here, you can see it's right there, right? Voy al gimnasio. When you have A and L, that's a contraction. It's about one of the only few contractions that there is in Spanish. In English, we have a lot. In Spanish, we have very few. This is one of them, okay? Al means to the. So what do? You shorten it. You put a, and instead of el after, you just get rid of the e and bring the l together to make al, which means to the. So in page 120, you can see this information, okay? What's a conjugated verb? Like I said before, a conjugated verb is a change in the verb that is just specifying who is doing that action, okay? In Spanish, it's very important to conjugate verbs. So if anything you will learn from this school year, the conjugations are very important because they determine what's happening and who is doing the action and when is that going on. This sentence says, Pablo goes to the cafeteria at 12. The conjugated verb is why? Because it changes from the verb, the original verb. The original verb is to go, right? You don't say Pablo to go to the cafeteria at 12. Pablo goes. He's going at this moment, okay? In Spanish, the same thing. The verb is ir. You don't say Pablo ir a la cafeteria a las 12 because that would be incorrect. You change the verb to va because that is the form for él, ella, and usted. So the conjugation is a change. It's a change of the verb determined by the subject, by who is doing the action, okay? So it says here, use ir to talk about where something is going. How do you form the present tense of this verb? Here is how. If he shows it to us, if he's going to be nice enough to roll up. Okay, there you go. Well, a little bit too much, more than I needed to. Sometimes it's too sensitive. There we go. All right, so ir means to go. Now, what I would like you guys to think about all of this is that after this, it will always be accompanied, it will be followed by the letter A. Ir, it means to go. So you say yo, I, yo voy. You don't say yo ir. This is the correct form. This is the correct conjugation. Conjugation means to change. Yo voy. Yo voy a. I am going to. Tú vas. You go. Tú vas a. You're going to. Okay? Usted, él, and ella. These three will always have the same, will share the form of any verb. Okay? Usted va. You, using the formal way of saying you in Spanish. Va a. You go to. Él va a. He goes to. Ella va a, she goes to. So it's a good idea to probably put the name of the person or the pronoun el, ella, or usted before. Nosotros, you have nosotros or nosotras, depending if you're a male, if it's a group of males or group of females. Vamos, that would be the correct form. Vamos a, we're going to. Vosotros vais a, you all going to. Ustedes, ellos, or ellas van a. Same thing as usted, él, and ella. These three subjects, these three pronouns, share the same form of the verb. Now, what I want to stress on this is that these verbs will always follow by a, by the preposition a, always, okay? So use it with the word a to say that someone is going to a specific place. When it's followed by the word el, they combine to form the contraction al. So if you have el and then a before, you get rid of the e and bring it together, and you have al, which means to the. Voy a la biblioteca. I am going to the library. Los estudiantes van al gimnasio, because gimnasio is a male word, it's el, so you can do the contraction here. But whatever you do, notice that the verb is always followed by a. Do you see it there? Do you see it here? Voy a la biblioteca, van al gimnasio. So the conjugation of this verb, the changing of the verb, depends on the subject, depends on who's doing the action, okay? Just remember that. You cannot leave the verb in its original form. You see, you have to change it. The only time you're not going to change it is if it's the second verb in one sentence. That is the only way that you will not change that verb. For example, if I say, I am going to go, how many times I use the verb to go there in that sentence? I'm going to go to the library. I am is the verb to be. Going to go. How many verbs are there? Two, but in it are three times, right? Three. I'm going to go. Yo voy a ir. Yo voy a ir, okay? O estoy yendo, one of the two. All right, so here we go. To ask where someone is going, you can use the preposition a before the verb, before the word donde. ¿A dónde vas? Where are you going? So when you go here in page 121, you will have activity 13. You will have to read that and complete the conversation using the form of the verb ir. Okay? So let's try to do it together. If this allows me to roll up. Okay. Here we go. It says, un estudiante serio. So here, what you have to do is just determine the subject who's doing the action. Tengo mucha tarea en la clase de inglés. I have a lot of homework in English class. Yo. What would be the form of verb yo for ir? Yo voy. Now, what's following after you voy? As you can see right here. Yo voy a la biblioteca. Now, tú y yo. Now, here is a question. Therefore, the verb is going to go before the pronouns, right? So, the pronouns, the subjects are tú y yo. Tú y yo, you and I, make what? We, right? You and I make we. So, what would be the correct form of the verb ir? Vamos. Correct. Vamos tú y yo. Correct. Next one.